I've been waiting a long time to do a reminiscing video on this game in particular. It's one of my favorites, especially thinking back from my childhood, one that I played a ton. This is Test Drive Unlimited, and for the young folks out there, this game was essentially Forza Horizon before Forza Horizon ever existed. In fact, that might not even be a fair comparison because this game does so much more with its gameplay than Forza Horizon ever does. You know, Forza Horizon is more of a celebration of the car culture. There's sort of this nightlife slash party vibe, and it's all about, you know, insane events and massive street races over the course of gorgeous landscapes. And that's definitely something that this game has, maybe a little bit less of an emphasis on the large scale set pieces and cross-country racing. What Test Drive Unlimited really focuses on is the lifestyle aspect of driving cars. It's about the luxury aspect of basically living your life through the love of automobiles, buying insanely large mansions that just overlook the gorgeous setting in Hawaii, outfitting your avatar, going to dealerships and test driving cars. It's just this massive celebration of really the lifestyle surrounding luxury with an emphasis on, of course, the automobiles here. For me, this game really cemented my love for racing games, although I've been a huge fan and played racing games essentially since I got into video games. I think it was really this game in particular that just really opened my eyes to the possibility of what racing games can do outside of just the normal arcade racers coming from some of the earlier Need for Speed titles. I actually have quite an interesting story to tell surrounding the release of this game and how I actually discovered it and where I played it first, so I want to get into that in this video here. So this game came out in 2006. It was one of the premier titles on the Xbox 360 in particular, but I wouldn't have owned that console for a couple years later. So I actually ended up playing this game first on my PS2. And I was in Blockbuster Video one day with my dad, and I was looking in the games section, and he offered to basically rent me a game. And so I was looking at sort of what was available, and this game caught my attention, Test Drive Unlimited. I was like, oh, you know, open world racing, fast cars. I was kind of drawn in by the whole box art and the whole aspect of, you know, again, choosing your avatar, living your luxury life. And the PS2 version is slightly stripped down in comparison to the 360. For example, there's no cockpit view for the cars on the PS2 version. The graphics are actually stripped down, although this was a cross-generation game. So you also don't have the flexibility of being able to actually explore areas of your home, or not really explore areas, but the game has different camera angles, and on the PS2 version in particular, at least if I'm remembering correctly, all it did was kind of give you a bird's eye view of the outside of your house rather than your avatar actually doing stuff like watching television, walking around the place, and all the different things that the 360 version had. But I wasn't aware of any of that at that age, and all I wanted to do was pick up a fun racer. And when I slotted this game into my PlayStation 2 and started playing, I was just amazed. I had never seen a racing game up to this point take a world like this and give you the flexibility of driving, and not just driving, but also trying to reach that, again, luxury lifestyle and really celebrating that within its gameplay. The world itself is probably the main thing on display, right? Because you just have this beautiful location. It's one of the islands of Hawaii, and this isn't just basically, you know, a game world that's been created to service a driving game. This is actually done on a 1-to-1 scale through one of the islands. They actually used real satellite imagery to create this island of Hawaii on a 1-to-1 scale. And yeah, you know, it's a video game. They had to scale things back, obviously. You know, things are kind of shrunken down here or there. They moved some of the road placements and edited some things. But for the most part, you are basically on the island of Hawaii, and it is rendered in a full 1-to-1 recreation of one of those islands to almost perfection. And so when you look at the actual game world, the map itself, what you're actually seeing is the entire island of Hawaii. And for the most part, you have complete freedom to drive wherever you want without any loading screens. There's traffic on the road. There's not really a lot of livelihood like people out there, right? But the whole idea is that you're on basically this luxury island. You're racing these fast cars, doing a lot of street racing. There's some event racing in here as well, doing some side missions. You're seeing me here trying to deliver a passenger to his location, and I have to get him to that location as fast as possible. I'm actually being timed without hitting any of the drivers on the road. If I hit too many people, he's going to get annoyed, and the mission is going to end. So there's just a lot of really fun missions in here, and there's a whole police system with this game as well, where the cops can kind of chase you down and you can get arrested. It's nothing like, Need for Speed where things get really intense, but there's just a lot in here that makes it really fun and dynamic and very tense at times. I loved exploring this game, and it just felt so exhilarating to be able to play in a world that was so expertly crafted like this, and then to have the freedom and flexibility to do more than just drive cars. It's like, yeah, you earn money from your events, but it's not only to buy new cars. You can buy new property for your avatar and just try to live out your luxury island fantasy lifestyle to the best that you can here. So it's just a really awesome game that really acted as sort of the prelude to the Forza Horizon games. You could tell that those games are really inspired, at least when it comes to the exploration and the world aspect that this game had on offer. And still, the Forza Horizon games don't really emphasize the lifestyle element of racing. It's more about the actual car culture, the event racing, the big set pieces, and all that stuff. But I think this game is sort of one of a kind in that respects. Ever since Test Drive has gone away, and they did make a sequel to this game in 2011, and there is a new game coming out, which I'm very, very much looking forward to. But ever since this game has gone away, I've sorely missed it in my life. There is just something so magical about playing this game for the first time and just really, seeing racing games evolve into something more than just drive your car from A to B trying to race other people. You're doing other stuff. And there was a really big online component with this game where, you were sort of connected in a shared world with other racers, and you could invite your friends in here and do events together. And in the second game, they just took that even further, where you can actually explore in like first person perspective your friends' houses and do all these different things. They have a whole casino and stuff like that. I'm definitely going to be doing a reminiscing video on the second game. In fact, I have many videos of me playing TDU2 on this channel when it was brand new. This series has just been one of my favorites, and it was pretty awesome. I went into this game, I started this game up on the Xbox 360. Unfortunately, it's not backwards compatible as well. This is one of those games that could have definitely used a 4K update from the game, or even a 60 FPS FPS boost mode. It would have been phenomenal. I think the driving controls by today's standards as well are a little bit stiff. The game isn't really a graphical impressor, and even back then, keep in mind this was a cross-generation game, the 360, really just sort of takes the concept and goes a little bit further with it, the lifestyle concept. So you have more choice in basically what you see and what you can do, more flexibility on the Xbox 360 side, but they still managed to fit the core game and all the important pillars on the PlayStation 2 version. But the cockpit mode really makes it for me in this game. You really feel like you're there driving these incredible cars and just on this gorgeous island. It's a beautiful, beautiful game when it came out. And I think even by today's standards, you can really appreciate what it was trying to do. And I think still, it doesn't really have a successor in a lot of ways. The team who worked on the Test Drive Unlimited franchise had now worked for Ubisoft. A lot of the core members there, they created the Crew games, or are creating the Crew games. It's still an ongoing series. I'm not really much of a fan of that series and the direction that they kind of went in. I played the first Crew and didn't really care for it. I actually quit on it almost immediately. I thought the controls were terrible, didn't care for its really weird and serious tone with the storyline. This game was just sort of relaxing, didn't really have a story, but again, it was more about the lifestyle element of racing cars, earning a lot of money, and just living your high life just on this gorgeous tropical island of Hawaii. It's just awesome. And I'm so happy that the Test Drive Unlimited series is making its way back. When I first heard that, was it 3 years ago at this point? They're taking their sweet time with it, but I'm just crossing my fingers, hoping hoping to God that they nail it and do it right. Publisher Nacon is the ones who are kind of working on the game with one of their internal studios there, and the track record isn't so great as of recently, but I'm really hoping that, and basically what I'm seeing from the reception that the developers are getting and all the extra development time that they're taking trying to create Test Drive Unlimited 3, or TDUSC, Solar Crown as it's called, with that subtitle. I'm just really hoping that they understand that that game needs to come out, and it needs to be almost perfect, high quality. It needs to basically land on the expectations that people had, and we're getting, a game set in China basically with a lot of these same elements that I'm expecting, and it's just awesome to see that series return in hopefully a big way. And I would love to see the game continue to get new entries in the series, because it is quite a special racing game, and one that I really, really hope many other people become fans of as the game gets reintroduced to a new fan base. So it was awesome to play Test Drive Unlimited again. What I was going to say originally before I got distracted there with my point was that I actually put this game in my 360 and started it up, and I actually didn't realize that I had a previous save file on the Xbox 360 cloud, I guess from many, many years when I rebought this game on the 360 and really put a lot of hours into it. So I just played with, my same character, almost starting it off like it was yesterday. It's just awesome. So all of my progress was there. I actually didn't complete the game fully when I played it on the 360. So I was able to actually finish up and do the final race in the game, which is an entire race around the whole island. It takes like almost an hour to actually do that race. That's just speaking to the scale of this world. For 2006 to have a game that large where it literally will take you an hour of actual playtime to go around the entire game world in one go, I mean, that's just, it's astonishing, and still by today's standards it's very, very impressive. Even if the detail level isn't so high as you're seeing here, there is pop-in, there isn't really a lot of traffic, there's not a lot of dynamism in the environments, they're pretty stoic, but this was a brand new generation, and to have freedom and flexibility and all this other stuff at the same time, in addition to just a really cool driving game, was just unknown. I'm so happy I was able to do a video on this and talk about it again after all this time. It's been one of my favorites, and for those of you who have been following me for a long time, you guys know that I've loved this series. I was making YouTube videos when the second game came out, and have a lot of videos on this channel of me just kind of racing around the island of Ibiza as well as Hawaii in the second game. So I'll go ahead and leave up some cards if you want to see some of those older videos of mine from 2011. But I can't wait for Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown TDU3. I'm really hoping it's going to be awesome. I'm really hoping that they just take their time. It seems like it. They're, really spending a lot of time with the game. It was originally supposed to come out this year. Looks like we won't be getting it until, next year sometime. So I'm just really hoping it comes out and it's a quality game and just lands on the core expectations that, myself and many other fans have. So just can't wait for it. Guys, let me know if you played Test Drive Unlimited yourself on the 360 or on the PS2. In fact, this game was actually on the PSP as well, if you can believe it or not. I think it's actually a different game on the PSP. I'm not sure if it's full open world, but this game was cross-generation. It released everywhere, including the portable handhelds and stuff like that. So it's pretty interesting to see that they were able to get a game at least of somewhat of this caliber on some hardware such as the PSP. Yes, I'll definitely be re-reviewing Test Drive Unlimited 2 sometime in the future, and whenever Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown comes out, expect an unboxing video from me, as well as probably a big review, maybe even some gameplay videos or a live stream on that. I'm definitely going to want to showcase my hopeful love for that game when it comes out. And just wish the developers all the luck and time that they need in order to create a polished, beautiful experience for longtime fans such as myself. I'll talk with you all later, guys. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and have a great day.